Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel, Half Moon Holistics. My name is Lynn Lewis. Thank you so much for joining me here. Let's take a walk through the street on Halloween night. As we exit our home, we are bundled up, perhaps with a light jacket and scarf. We walk down our sidewalk, we walked down the street, watching as the sky's last rays of sunlight dim beyond the horizon. You take a nice big deep breath in and take in the cool, crisp autumn air. You look up at the trees and see remnants of the leaves, the last small few lingering onto the branches above, the colors, that of autumn, the red, the yellow, the brown, and the orange. Perhaps you think to yourself, what a beautiful, calming, chill air. Now, as we slowly walk down, we feel the sense of the darkness overtake the night, take over the sky, and you look up and see that the clouds are cleared, that the moon is perhaps full. And then in that moment, you think to yourself, I wonder if there's ever been a Halloween where the moon was not full. And then you start to see the flicker of the street lights turn on. One by one, they flicker. And in a moment, you hear the electric shock of each bulb turning each light on. And in that moment, you hear stillness. You feel a sense of calm. Perhaps in a way you feel a bit unsettled because you know the veil is so thin, especially on Halloween night. You hear the rustles of the leaves against your feet as you walk. You hear the wind gently howl. Perhaps far off in the distance, you hear the call of the crow. And as you gently walk past the darker end of the street, you start to hear the call of the owls, hooting to your left or to your right. You look over and perhaps you see one of them looking at you, not quite understanding, realizing what they could be thinking. But truthfully, I like to think that they are simply blessing you on the eve. And as you continue to walk, a sense of chill fills the air. Perhaps you start to hear the cackles of the children nearby. It is Halloween night after all. And the costumes make you smile. Perhaps some make you scared with fright. Perhaps you ridicule those who do not wear any at all. But it is in this moment where you find yourself just feeling one with Halloween night. Even though you are with the others of the neighborhood, even though the lights are a cadence of the joys and celebration of the eve, you can't help but also feel a bit alone. And this is fine for you because you like to be alone. You like to embrace the darkness that is the night. You like to embrace that walk on your own. You love to listen to the rustles of the leaves. You love to listen to the wind howl. Perhaps you hold your arms together and give yourself a big hug, trying to keep yourself warm. And perhaps you can't help but chuckle as you start to think of the craziest things that you might come across Halloween night. The neighbor with the giant scarecrow. Down the road, the neighbor with the giant pumpkin. And then you start to think, do I truly know these people? Perhaps I should get to know them. And then you wonder, when you were a kid, on Halloween night, the types of tricks or treats you got yourself into. Perhaps you remember the types of candies you came home with. Perhaps you remember all of the costumes that you used to wear. And in this moment, you start to think of all of the Halloween themes, the movies, the sounds, the cliche effects that you would hear. You hear the bubbling of the witch's cauldron. A part of you hopes to stumble across them, but then you remind yourself, perhaps not. Perhaps you see a bat fly by. And as you look up at the night sky, you feel blessed and calm. And then perhaps you feel the soft fur of a cat rubbing its body against your legs. A black cat, no doubt, but in your mind, it is simply just coincidence. It is simply just an animal. And now you find yourself walking home as you take in the night air. You think about all the things you want to do, all the rituals you might want to perform. And you remember this Halloween night has been a night of ease, of peace, of fun, of joy, and of course, of tricks or treats. Always remember, beautiful souls, that the eve of autumn, the night of Halloween, even the energies prior to Halloween, the veil between our world and the spiritual world runs very thin as we continue to honor those who have passed. As we approach the Day of the Dead, we must always remember to show respect. Do not involve yourselves in things that you ultimately do not understand or know, simply because it seems fun. Trust me, you do not want the repercussions of such things coming back to you. And always stay safe and protect yourself well. Wishing you all love and light, and happy Halloween.